Welcome to the Own Your Best Life podcast. I'm May Emson, your host, leadership and mindset coach. Here, we talk all things spiritual, mindset, business, leadership, and wellness for the modern seeker who wants to align their life with purpose and inspiration. We'll cover career changes, stress management, meditation, energy, intuition, and more. Each episode holds spiritual and practical tools to help you live a life of your wildest dreams without getting burnt out along the way. Ready to live a life on your own terms? This is the Own Your Best Life podcast. Welcome, friends, to episode number 84 of the Own Your Best Life podcast. We often have the best intentions when it comes to making a change in our lives, whether we're making shifts to our health, our wealth, work, or relationships. We are deciding to do something new and different for a reason. Why then do we start to plateau, or we even revert back to old behaviors that don't serve us? Today, we will discuss 4 ways to make change last. So the first way to make change last is by making space for change. The other week I was in San Diego for an event as part of my retreat facilitation work, and I haven't been traveling much in the last several months. So as I began packing for the trip, I realized that I had a little bit too much in my bag. It wasn't all going to fit in, so I began this process of removing some items from the bag. And there was one item that was taking up a lot of space that wasn't really necessary. It wasn't going to work for the weather there. It was kind of bulky. And I actually had added it in at the last second. You know, when you have those moments of, well, what if this happens? I'm going to throw this in. Well, that was, of course, the item that had to go. Suddenly, there was enough room. There was enough room to close the suitcase so that I could take it there, and also enough room for me to bring something back. So how many times in our lives have we said, we want to make a change and we want to make this shift, but we don't actually make space for it in our lives? We want to wake up earlier, but we don't go to bed earlier. We want to add in an extra project, but nothing comes off our plates. We want to focus on our family life, but we don't want to change how or when we focus on our work lives. We want to make more money, but we don't make a proposal or offer for that. We want it all, yet we don't really want it. And this is one of the ways I know that we don't actually want the change as much as we think we do. If it was really important, we would have done it by now. And yet I won't have you stop and give up right there. Making space for change comes from our ability to identify why we want this new thing in our lives. I can't bring anything back in a suitcase that's already overflowing, can I? And you can't bring anything new into your life from this place where there's already too much. And so we take a look at the things in our lives that take up a lot of mental or physical space and time. We remove those. We spend days and months just figuring out how to make those things less important and the new things more important. And we shift everything every single day. Old patterns of behaviors are not easy to change overnight. Most people think that all they have to do is decide one time, but really they're deciding every single day that is still important to them, especially when you're doing it alone. When you're in a community, when you're in an organization or a relationship where you're supported in this change, it makes it a lot easier to actually pull it off and have it stick. And this is why we have support groups or communities, which leads me to the second way to make change last. After events or trainings, maybe listening to a podcast like this one or reading a book, you'll likely have this newfound sense of change. You're going to decide, I want to change, and you get started. You have this burst of inspiration. And this is really inevitable. This lasts for a little bit of time, but you need repeated reinforcement and repeated inspiration to remind yourself of why you're doing it in the first place. I think of this as like scheduling inevitability, reminding ourselves why we're doing it in the first place. And this is one of the reasons that I went to this event in San Diego. Yeah, it was part of this facilitation work, but I also knew it would give me that boost of inspiration, remind me why I plan retreats. And this is the reason I have my own coach and that I'm part of communities for all the work that I do, whether it is training and development or spirituality. and we naturally plateau. But when we are being challenged by others to continue to rise and commit to ourselves in ways that serve us and serve those around us, we will continue to evolve. And our journey of evolution doesn't just come from repeating the same habits and behaviors in our daily lives. It actually comes from trying new habits and new behaviors over and over and over again until we see what worked, what didn't work, what we would do differently next time. And humans were meant to be in community and in conversation, to connect to others through our shared experiences and our struggles, and to also find help and inspiration from each other. And if we are trying to do it all alone, it will feel exhausting. And if it feels exhausting, you won't want to continue on. So for the sake of you and those around you, find something that can help you be pulled forward effortlessly. This is what I think about when I think about scheduling the sense of inevitability. When you sign up for trainings or workshops regularly, you are scheduling something in the future that you know will have you arrive at your desired goal. When you sign up for a coach, the same thing happens. When you sign up to be part of a community, and you start to see with all these steps, you're going to start to move more effortlessly towards this life that you desire. And what community does for us is it brings forward from inside of us that which we have a hard time articulating. And that brings me to the third way of making change last. So that third way of making change last is to tell other people. So the second one was really about this scheduling inevitability, whether it is scheduling community, conference events, training events, things where you can put it on your calendar, whether it's a training, whether it's a coach, and something that is there for you to attend, be with people, and continue to move forward on the thing. But the third way is really about telling people. You don't have to tell everyone, but the more we share our change with others, the more likely we are to commit and to follow through. It's a sign of commitment to talk to someone about what is happening. And the more micro commitments we can make, the more this gets embedded into our daily lives. You might find that you just want to tell one person, and that's okay. There's something powerful that happens when we articulate a vision or a goal or a desire, even if we're not sure how it's going to happen. We also allow other people to stay on the journey with us, to co-create with us. And some of us love to change so rapidly and so quickly that others have a hard time keeping up. And in the beginning, this looks like a sign of your own growth, that you are starting to move faster than other people. But over the long term, this is going to be one of the ways that you lose people. And there may be people that you lose that aren't a big part of your life, and you might have very little investment from either party in this relationship. But there are also likely people that you want to stay close to. So I would watch out for that here. Whether this is your team at work or your personal relationships, you can inform people of changes that you'd like to make ahead of time. And that's one of the most important ways we keep people with us and hold us accountable to doing what we say. Sometimes I'll have clients practice what they want to say with me because they've never articulated their new goals or desires to someone else. And the more important something is, the more emotions it can bring up about what it means to try to change this or why they're looking to change in the first place. And if you're this driver kind of personality, someone who really pushes, or maybe you have a tendency to override emotions at work or in your personal life to just get it done, you're used to coming from a place of strength and power. And change doesn't always look like strength and power. It might signal a sign of vulnerability that something is quote unquote wrong and we need to make it quote unquote right. Vulnerability can feel challenging if you're not used to it. So I'd love for you to reframe the sense of vulnerability, to see it as bringing up what's real versus what's ignored. It's very likely that the thing that we want to do has been ignored for a while. And it takes courage for us to bring the unseen to the surface and make it seen. It's a sign of personal leadership when we can confront the hard things, not from a sense of right and wrong, but from a neutral place of where do we want to go from here. Let's remove all this personal drama and stay close to what is actually happening right now. And right now, you might know that something is better for you and everyone else if you were to attempt a change in this area of your life. And all the reasons why it hasn't occurred before doesn't really matter. What matters is right now. All right, number 4, the fourth way is about not giving up. We often fail our way to success. The difference between success and true failure is giving up partway through. And if you can stay with this present moment as we make this change, you'll have a multitude of opportunities to try again and again and again. And it is a complete falsehood to believe that we should only be successful and feel good all the time. However, this is a falsehood that many people have sold you. And as a result, you feel pretty bad about yourself. We compare and then we despair. Someone else has done it faster. Other people have it easier. When is it my turn? Why am I still not where I want to be? And if you haven't yet figured this out by now, life is actually pretty difficult. And it gets more difficult as time goes by. Our scope expands in our work. Our relationships get more complicated. Our responsibilities at home become greater. We have to care for aging parents, maybe our neighbors, kids, other people's kids, and the list just goes on. So if we let the weight of all of this feel like a burden, it will be. But instead, we can make things feel easier by becoming more resilient, by mastering our emotions, our thinking, our concepts of ourselves as the person who can ride all these waves day by day. So making change last is a day-by-day process. There's no need to rush into the future of what if it doesn't work, or go back into the past of I would have, or I could have, or I should have. What if it does work? And what if all you have is this moment right now? So in summary, as we wrap all of this up, this was lightning quick today because I really want to make sure that as you're making these moves, that you feel supported and that you know that there are people who understand what it's like to try to do something and to not have it work, especially not the first time, second time, third time, or to feel like you just can't figure it out. Change isn't something that happens. It's constantly occurring. And our ability to transition day by day into that change is going to be affected by a multitude of factors outside and within our control. And if you feel like all the things are outside of your control, you're just going to give up. And these 4 things I shared with you today are all totally 100% within your control. Making space, scheduling inevitability, telling other people, and not giving up. All right, my friends, if this topic resonates with you, you want to see transformational results in your own life, you will love coaching. And it is the first step in creating that clarity, making massive shifts, moving obstacles out of your way, and moving forward. So you can go to www.mayemson.com/contact to learn more. And if you're interested in how to create meaningful and purposeful goals, how to set that vision up for 2022, I'm holding a workshop on December 12th. You can go to www.mayemson.com/yourbestyear to sign on up. We will craft a year of your best life. You will not want to miss it. I will see you there. That's it, my friends, for this week. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us this week on Own Your Best Life. Make sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts so that you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, can you please rate and review on iTunes? I would so appreciate it. Share it with a friend, take a screenshot of it, and tag @MayEmson. This helps continue to get the word out. For more show notes and resources, check out www.mayemson.com. You'll have all the links to everything you heard here today. Thanks so much for listening. It's time to own your best life.